Hi there, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today's topic is about Jake Paul's mansion getting raided along with the graffiti mansion. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but Jake Paul's friend owns the graffiti mansion, so both mansions are kind of intertwined, and the FBI raided both of them. So we're gonna be talking about that.
We've been dancing for so long under the stars. I feel that the grass will cut through my skin.
News broke on Wednesday, depending on what day I upload this, that his house was getting raided, and there's also an open investigation regarding Jake Paul. It took a while for a lot of people to kind of understand, why is the FBI investigating Jake Paul? I mean, is it really like shocking? No, but why are they investigating him? And I think it was Jake Paul's team and his friend that I just said, I can't pronounce his name, and other sources finally came out and said that the FBI said that it was regarding Jake Paul being at Fashion Square Mall in Arizona when all the looting was going on. And I guess how that makes sense, I don't really understand. Initially, Jake Paul was charged with a misdemeanor and the city dropped it. And I read something that said that the city dropped it so that the FBI could take over. And I kind of think that's true because the FBI is investigating the entire mall. Like, certain stores still aren't open at that mall because there's an entire investigation going on there. So it could be true. I just don't understand why they would be taking his weapons because of this. It's just really weird. And what the hell is Jake Paul doing? Jake Paul tried to say that he was filming all the protests going on around the country, I believe, but it's like he wasn't even filming the protest in Arizona. Like, where he was is nowhere close to where the protest actually happened in Arizona. It's maybe like a 30-minute drive from where he was. Not only that, they weren't protesting, they were like looting the mall. And I mean, I don't care about them looting the mall because those are, objects and stuff, and they're doing that because Black Lives Matter and cops are acting like they don't matter. So that's where it gets taken to sometimes, but that's not the point. The point is Jake Paul has like 20 million subscribers and half of them are probably children, and what he was putting on his story that night is just not something you should be like promoting as an influencer. The things these influencers do blow my mind, but they keep getting paid. So why would they stop, Anyways, he eventually came out and tweeted after a bunch of outlets came out and reported on it. And he tweeted and said, "To be absolutely clear, neither I nor anyone in our group was engaged in any looting and vandalism. For context, we spent the day doing our part to peacefully protest one of the most horrific injustices our country has ever seen, which led us to being tear gassed for filming the events and brutality that were unfolding in Arizona. We were gassed and forced to keep moving on foot. We filmed everything we saw in an effort to share our experience and bring more attention to the anger felt in every neighborhood we traveled through. We were strictly documenting, not engaging. We do not condone violence, looting, or breaking the law. However, I understand the anger and frustration that led to the destruction we witnessed, and while it's not the blah blah blah, because I don't got the rest." Anyways, I covered this story already in another video, so if you're not all up to date with him being in Arizona at that mall, definitely check that out and then come back to this because it ties in to this. Clearly the FBI is investigating him because of that. But we now fast forward 3 months later, his mansion is getting raided. His friend's mansion is getting raided, and Jake Paul wasn't even home during this. He is in Vegas right now training for a boxing match in September. Yeah, he's boxing a former NBA guard, Nate Robinson, in September, and listen to this, guys, listen to this. If there's multiple fights, I don't know if there's multiple fights or just him and then the big fight, but he is one of the opening fights, you guys, for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Like, how did Jake Paul get to be one of the opening fights for Mike Tyson? Like, this is just not a world I want to be in right now. Jake Paul has made it for probably a lot of people. I don't feel like I'm the only person who feels this, but he's made it for a lot of people to feel like they just don't care to watch him. I hope that really made sense. I literally don't care to watch anything this man does because of the way he acts, the things he say, but I mean, I guess I'll watch his mistakes and report on them. That's kind of mean, huh? Jake Paul was not there, but Jeffree Star wasn't either, and he made sure that he got in on this drama. Jeffree tweeted out, "Why is there FBI in Calabasas right now? My mom said she saw 20 officers in a tank." And then he quote tweeted a tweet from ABC and said, "My neighbors sure are interesting." Like, yet again, Jeffree Star just putting his foot somewhere it doesn't belong. It was just like last month where he said he meant what he said in his last apology. It's just so many apologies you can't even keep track right now. That he said what he said and he meant it, but look at where we are a month later and he's trying to get in on this drama. Is Jake Paul even your neighbor? I'd honestly say he's not a changed person because he quote tweeted this person's tweet and it says, hating Jeffree isn't just a hobby, it's an obsession, it's lifestyle, a reason to breathe and escape from this cruel world filled with thieves. It's art, the first gift you open on Christmas, a hug from a loved one, everything you've ever wanted, everything you need. Whoa, first off, like, this guy is just delusional. It's so funny. And second off, I don't know, I feel like Jeffree Star quote tweeting that is just him being, you know, kind of petty, like a look at me kind of thing. It's just, bro, you're like 30 plus. Stop. Honestly, I'm kind of liking my skin with this glow, okay? It just seems like Jeffree Star is still petty and only lifting the voices of people who adore him. I mean, what's new? Nothing is new and nothing has changed. While I was watching this entire story develop, I saw that Jake's friend, the guy, I can't say his name right, he had posted a couple days after Jake's party that he had to go to the hospital to visit his mom. You guys, I hope this man was tested before he went into a hospital and went into that hospital to visit his mom. If he didn't, he could potentially have affected other people there and also worsen her immune system. So when I heard about him doing that, I was like, okay, let's see what other stupid stuff this guy does. So I went onto his Instagram account and I saw this post from the 4th of July that he posted. And clearly, you guys, they never stopped partying when the pandemic hit. And I don't think that they're ever going to stop partying. And on his story today, he posted after the raid happened, and he posted this.
Well, had a rough morning, but we're going to try to finish off the day right over here. I get it. You guys are really concerned about the raid that went down at my house. Meanwhile, we got a mansion to paint. The Barbies are here, and, you know, we got work to fucking do. First we paint, then we party. I don't know if we should throw a party this time, but we definitely got to finish painting.
There's just so many people still around them when they're not even partying. I read something and it made me just kind of think like, whoa, like, what is Jake doing there? It said the SWAT team was used to enter his house, and when the SWAT team is used, it's because it is suggested that there's guns inside or there are people inside who they believe could become violent. And I was sitting there reading that like, whoa, was it only the, or was it people they thought that could be violent too? Because in a footage that I saw as well, I think it was at the graffiti mansion, there were people being walked out in handcuffs, and all I could, what are these people doing in here? There's multiple things going around too as of why his guns were taken. In America, for the most part, guns are legal to have, you know, under the right circumstances. If you have your medical card, you can't legally own a gun. I saw a lot of people saying, you know, they could have been bought illegally. They could have been taken because they were just out in the open. They weren't being stored the right way. You know, I just have no idea because they, like I said, used a SWAT team to enter. And they said if you're doing that, it's because they think there's or violent people in the house. And if they were only investigating Jake Paul for the mall incident, why would they think like he had guns and stuff? I know he's very open about the fact that he likes, he has a tattoo on him, but I don't think that would make enough proof for the cops to bring in SWAT to bust down his door. I don't know, you guys, this is so confusing. There's a photo going around too of this huge just propped up on the jacuzzi outside, and a lot of people are like, what the hell is that doing just sitting outside? I'm wondering the same thing, but also, you know, it could maybe be the FBI like propped it up right there while they were getting all the other guns. I don't know. If he just leaves guns out like that, I don't know who lives in the house, but he's not in town. If he just leaves guns out like that, anyone could just walk up to his property and do some crazy stuff. And on top of that, he throws so many parties. So where is he putting these guns when they're all partying? Because that could be an awful situation when there's a bunch of people who are intoxicated and there's just open weapons everywhere. Like, what? And speaking of Jake and parties, he threw one on the 11th of July. He says it was for a music video. He had 80 people over to shoot a music video.
It's not a party. It was a music video. It was the music video shoot, and there was 80 people.
I had read something too that the video shoot was in 6 different locations, and I just wonder, were all 80 people taken to each 6 different locations? And also, I wonder, can you see all 80 people in this music video? Because I feel like it's just unnecessary. There are so many well-known artists that have a couple people in their music video. So during a pandemic especially, why can't you just have a couple people if you have people in your music video? Make it make sense, bro. One of my favorite groups literally just dropped a new music video, and they used puppets that look like them. And they're bigger than Jake Paul. If they can do that, I definitely think Jake Paul can figure out a different way to shoot a music video. His friend was lifting people with this huge machine, and Jake tries to say that he came out after finishing shooting the video. He came out, saw him doing this, and had to shut it down because it's a liability. Do we really think that Jake Paul stopped that? Because according to this photo, it just don't look like it. It just don't look like it. Like, it looks like you are shook. Like, you were like, dang, like, I'm trying to get up there. Like, it doesn't look like you're shutting it down, boy. Not at all. Jake mentions that he's now old enough to realize when certain things aren't safe, and I don't think that's true. You are literally still having parties and putting people's lives at risk. So if that's a safe situation, you throwing parties during a pandemic, I don't know what you think is not safe. Like, that's kind of scary. The mayor even came out and spoke on Jake's name. Like, she was like, no. Period. Done. She said that people without face masks will be getting a $100 fine. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Because I don't think it's happening. I don't. I'm seeing a lot of people walking around there with no face mask. And also $100? $100? Do you know how much these influencers make? Like, off of one post on their Instagram? Like $100. Are you kidding me? They eat $100 for breakfast. I think you need to raise the price of that fine. On top of being fined $100 for not wearing a face mask, they have a zero tolerance policy in place, and I don't believe it. Like, I don't see it being enforced. These TikTokers are literally still having parties. I want to talk about the Impulsive podcast because Jake was recently on it and he had some things to say.
And also, it's like, at what point do we go back to regular life and not be stopping everything we're doing in our day-to-day lives because of coronavirus?
There was nothing normal about living in a systemically racist country. Nothing. He just sounds so stupid asking this, honestly, because it's like the point when we can get back to whatever you think is normal is when you guys stop partying, because we want to party, but we can't. And you guys still partying is making it so we can't party even longer. I want to party. I hear music playing in the back of NBA games, and I'm like, ooh, turn that up, because they playing some banging songs, and I feel like I'm in a club. But I'm not in a club. But I feel like I'm in a club, because it has been over 6 months since I've been in a club. 6 months. It is literally the person who continues to party and take no precautions during a pandemic that is literally asking us, like, so when can we go back? Like, you never even stopped. What are you going back to? But also, we can go back once y'all stop. Jake goes on that he knows that as a kid, he's probably gonna get it. He's not a kid. I'm not a kid. He acts like a kid though, but he's not a kid. But then he also says that he'll survive it. And I don't know if they understand like how tone deaf that is. You will survive it not only because you're young, you're healthy, but if it really like took over your health and your body, you financially can support yourself to survive it. People are literally out here dying because they can't even pay to get the help they need for COVID. But these influencers can, so they're gonna continue living their lives because they'll survive it. I don't know if this is his name, but I think it's Mike. And I only think it's Mike because of the comments, so shout out the comments. But he kind of tells Jake, like, yo, like, I think what you're asking is like a scientific question, and I don't think that question should be answered by like people like you. He honestly goes in to confirm what I'm saying.
I think to base the right opinion or the impactful opinion of what is the right next step on the people who decide to ignore it is probably not the right step, right?
I felt like that was like a subtle jab at Jake because he is ignoring this. And he's also the person being like, but when do we get to go back? So they have this entire conversation about the pandemic. And for the most part, it's Mike and Logan going back, talking, having a conversation. Logan's asking Mike for his opinion on certain things. And finally, Jake gets a word in. And what did we expect, guys? Honestly, what did we expect? Jake opens his mouth.
And I was doing like research on it on Google with like certified doctors, and they say like it gives you a 15% like increase.
Did you sit down with some certified doctors and you all went on a Google and you typed in the same words that we can all type in to find the same stuff? I'm confused.
Something that bothers me though is 95% of the masks that people are wearing are just cloth.
Jake Paul figured this out with certified doctors with the help of Google. Like, look guys, stop wearing a face mask because you only have a 15% chance of not catching it. But someone was like, yeah, but that's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. I think that's the logic there.
And thank you again for saying this. The mindset of Jake Paul blows my mind. Where is their mom? Like, where is their mom? Like, even if I was this big as an influencer, my mom would hit me up and be like, if you don't get your ass inside away from this virus, your is grass. And I'd be like, you're right, mom. Let me get home. Towards the end, Mike starts to tell Jake, you know,
if he goes 1 year without touching the stoves, 90% of the stoves leave the warehouse. And you got a lot less stoves to touch.
I was like listening to that. I was like, you think so? Like you think I should try? You think that'll help me too? It just made me laugh because he used Shane and Jeffree as an example.
Once that target leaves your back, Dawson takes it, Jeffree Star other people take it.
I just couldn't help but giggle because it's like, yeah, because we all know Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star are never gonna stop getting into drama. The guy that was sitting next to Jake, I don't know who this guy is. I never watched this podcast at all. He was asking Jake.
You talked about becoming a massive independent artist. Do you think that becoming that artist that you want to be and having controversies in your life is kind of the route to get there?
And I feel like Jake didn't really even answer his question. Like Jake was just kind of like, you know.
I think I'm just realizing like the more I am myself, the happier I am, and the more people fuck with me.
You being yourself is putting lives at risk. I don't know how many times I could say this in a video, you putting people's lives at risk, but you just being yourself and being happy and coming to terms with that doesn't mean you have to be throwing parties in the middle of a global pandemic. Jake honestly seems to just get upset. Like, he can't take any criticism towards him, directed at him. And when Mike's trying to tell him, like, stop getting in all this drama, you know, if you stop, you won't have it next year. Jake's just like, bro, you're acting like I've been in controversies every single week. Like, name the last time I was in one. He named the past 2, but he was literally like, name more that I've had this year. And it made me laugh because one of them was like, well, what about the financial freedom movement?
What about financial freedom movement?
That's
And Jake didn't even stutter. Like, he was like, what about that? I was helping kids make money.
teaching kids about how to make money.
We know about that, and we know he was not helping kids make money. I think that's the time when he was trying to be like, hey kids, like, drop out of school kind of thing. Yeah, he was not trying to help kids make money. My final conclusion on this entire episode is, like I said, he just cannot take any criticism. The entire time he's sitting there and they're talking like at him instead of with him, you could see the look on his face. He's just kind of annoyed, like, can we move on to the next topic? I don't want to talk about my mistakes. My conclusion with Jake Paul as a person, trash it. I appreciate the grind, but you know, there are a lot of people on YouTube who are grinding hard too, and they aren't in this many controversies, and they're also not putting people's lives at risk. I think the only reason we won't be seeing Jake at parties or throwing any parties is because he has to be quarantined, like for real quarantined for this boxing match. So many people involved with a boxing match, and it is so physical. I don't think he'll be allowed out. I think if they saw him throw a party, they would probably have to cancel his match. I don't know. But as far as his friend, I think his friend will definitely still be partying. Like, in the video that he posted this morning, he literally mentioned, I don't know if I should throw a party still or something like that. Like, no, you shouldn't throw a party still. Your house just got raided, bro. Why are you thinking about still throwing a party? And on top of that, we're in a pandemic. Like, I don't know if you heard that enough through this video, but like, we're in a pandemic. Stop throwing parties. That's it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you ring the bell so you are notified every time I upload a video. It's 1 a.m. I'm gonna edit this video as soon as I'm done and try to get it up on Thursday. It's Thursday night. Oh, so confusing. Like I said, peace out, guys.
I've seemed to prolong all